Thank you. Everyone has a reason to come back home. For some, it's comfort. For others, it's stability. For me, it was my family and friends. And eventually, I realized it was for a whole lot more than that. It was to find myself. See, I'm the third Graves child to speak at a Clearwater Academy graduation. That's the third out of 5. In fact, my family is so large that if we're not already related, I bet if you took one of those ancestry DNA tests, we would somehow be connected through some random cousin in the middle of nowhere. To put it simply, my family is huge. They are there when I need them, even if I don't want them to be. And if I try to avoid them altogether, forget it. Honestly, though, I wouldn't have it any other way. But because my family is such a big part of who I am, sometimes it's been really hard to tell where my family ends and where I begin. Let me explain. I started at this school in K1 when I was 3 years old. One of the clearest memories I have from then is laying down for nap time on my cot by the cubbies where the light peeked in through the blinds. And being the rebel I was, I didn't sleep. Instead, I took it all in. Everything felt still. Now, I know this seems deep for a 3-year-old, but it was in that stillness that I began to find myself for the first time. See, there was a calmness that I didn't always get at home. Now that was then. Fast forward to the 8th grade. There was a shift, and I suddenly felt like I didn't belong. Don't bother asking why, because I myself don't know even to this day. All I know was that my friends were moving on, and I wasn't moving with them. And I didn't want to pretend to be someone else to fit in when I still wasn't sure who I was. Then an opportunity sprung up. My cousins were switching schools, and it felt like maybe a change of environment would help. So I left Clearwater Academy. But by sticking with one family, I didn't realize I was leaving another and losing myself in the process. You see, before leaving, I'd performed in many different shows here. And while I really loved acting, it wasn't until I left that I discovered I couldn't live without it. Creating characters and getting to explore their lives was not just something that made me feel alive, it was something that I was good at, something that made me feel different from others. And the thing about acting, the thing that was different from singing, dancing, playing sports, and everything else I used to do with my friends, was that it was mine. Acting never felt like something I had to force myself to do, or something I had to do to fit in. It felt not like work at all, but like pure joy. And in this joy, I was able to find a piece of myself. That's when it hit me. Clearwater Academy had helped give me that piece, and that was reason enough to find my way back home. Now, it didn't happen right away because, honestly, it's not always easy to go back home when you left for the wrong reasons. But I knew that there was no way I could graduate from high school away from the friends I had grown up with and without getting to be a part of this school's amazing theatrical productions a few more times. Tonight, all I can say is that I'm so happy I came back home. Before I leave, there are a few people I'd like to recognize. Thank you to all the staff for working so hard to help us flourish and prosper, and to Mr. Zwiers for running such an amazing group. I'm still not sure why you didn't barricade all the doors after I decided to come back, but thank you. To all the teachers I've had along the way, you were patient with me in the face of all my crazy, and for that, you have my deepest respect and gratitude. Mona, you always demanded my best and refused to allow me to be stopped by any barrier. You taught me to be tough, not only in class, but on stage. I will forever be grateful for what you've given me. And now, Fred. Being your daughter's best friend meant that there was no escape. You not only had to put up with me in class, but also in your own home. You are not only my teacher, but my friend. I want you to know how much I really do respect you, even though it may not always seem like that. And although we are far apart in age, I feel like I've known you a lot longer than the years I've been here. Thank you for everything. To all my friends who I've grown up with, I know I can be pretty dramatic sometimes and annoying, but it's always nice to spice things up a bit every so often. Thank you for being my support system. Thank you to my massive family of endless siblings and relatives who I know I can turn to for a social life if I don't have any friends left. Mom, you always make it go right no matter what's in your way. I convinced myself that I wasn't going to cry. Everyone always tells me how much I look like you, and I hope looks aren't the only qualities we share. I don't know everything you have gone through for us, but what I do know inspires me. So thank you for being an amazing, unstoppable woman and role model. Sorry. I will love you forever, obviously. Okay. Dad, you have always been there for me. You are the sweetest, most optimistic, and caring person I know. You are one of my biggest supporters, and you have shaped me into a loving, well, maybe not always, and resilient person. Thank you for teaching me to follow the things I love. I love you. Like I said, everyone has a reason to come back home. Well, Clearwater Academy became my home, and I will never forget that. Thank you.